جامعة الإمام عبد الرحمن بن فيصل بالدمام ترحب بك.
Hi, I will talk about the introduction to COVID-19. On December 31st, 2019, the World Health Organization revealed a number of cases of adiabatic pneumonia in the eastern city of Wuhan, which has a population of more than 11 million. And days later, on January 7, science reached the Chinese have indicated that a new coronavirus from the corona family. The cause of these cases, at first it looked like an epidemic mainly confined to China, but it quickly turned into a global epidemic. They said the passage of 5 months suffered since the announced start of the emergence of the virus. Many questions are still raised about it, the most important and most dangerous of them questioning the date of the beginning and where the virus appeared, and this controversy began escalate with the cessation of many reports indicating the emergence of infection with the virus. The new corona earned than previously that. What are coronavirus? Coronavirus are a large group of viruses that can infect animals and humans alike, causing respiratory illnesses. Whether they are mild, such as the common cold, or severe, such as pneumonia, animal coronavirus really infect humans and then spread among them.
The economic repercussions at the global level. Also, the Chinese economy faced within the framework of the structural economic adjustment process that it adopts. Additionally, in its growth rate during the past 2 years, and its productivity decreased by about 2% in 2019. However, it still plays a pivotal role in the global economy as the second largest economy after the US economy, and as the largest economy in manufacturing goods. Global economic growth. The global economy witnessed a slowdown in itself even before the emergence of the coronavirus, due to the challenges it faces represented by trade tensions between China and the USA. International organizations had also lowered their forecasts regarding global economic growth before the outbreak of the corona epidemic, as the International Monetary Fund expected global economic growth by 3.3% in 2020 and 3.4% in 2021, compared to 2.9% in 2019, where the fund made this expectation before the emergence of the coronavirus, as the fund intended to amend this expectation after the spread of the coronavirus. taking into account its negative impact on the global supply and demand sides. In this regard, pointed out that the global economy has entered a deeper recession than the one it witnessed during the Great Depression in 1929 to 1939 and during the global financial crisis in 2008. The global oil market. Before the outbreak of corona, the increase in global oil demand levels recorded a decrease in 2019 to reach about 0.083 million barrels per day, reflecting the slowdown in global economic activity. In the wake of the spread of the coronavirus, OPEC revised its estimate of the growth rate of the global oil demand by reducing it in March to about 0.06 million barrels per day. This reflects the slowdown in global economic growth associated with the spread of the coronavirus outside China.
The economic impact of the spread of coronavirus at the level of Arab countries. Arab financial market. The Arab financial markets have been affected by the repercussion of the coronavirus, like other global financial markets. Some stock exchanges also recorded sudden losses due to the decline in the share prices of the major listed companies. According to the Composite Index issued by the Arab Monetary Fund, which measures the performance of the Arab financial market combined. The public finance sector. At the level of oil exporting countries, it's expected that lower global oil prices will lead to adjustment to the 2020 budget estimates that have come into effect. This would reduce government revenue for the state and cause greater fiscal deficit than in previous year. Therefore, to the financial deficit left by the size of emergency spending on the virus in the long term. Arab oil exporting countries may resort to the other resource of financing, such as increase in tax revenue and diversification of economic structure.
Trade and service in Arab countries. 1. Transport service. A number of Arab airlines cut their daily flight in the wake of the spread of the coronavirus. It is noteworthy that the Arab country own a number of international airlines covering vast area around the world affected by the virus, as a number of them announced the suspension of flight. The Arab airlines have taken a number of measures to limit the spread of the virus, examining travelers from the fees impasse on cancelling and postponing flight. 2. Tourism service. In view of the international effort to limit the spread of the coronavirus and the restriction imposed on travel and tourism between countries, the tourism sector has been directly affected, especially in the Arab countries that depend on it, one of the important resources of revenue for public budgets, as well as the balance of payment in the short term. The impact was strong due to the state of the confusion that provide in the sector and the losses increases by service providers in the Arab country.
Policies adopted at the level of Arab countries to overcome the repercussions of the emerging coronavirus. Arab countries moved urgently to the World Health Organization. A set of precautionary measures was followed at the level to counter the repercussions of the spread. The virus is affecting Arab economies. The total energy directed by Arab governments is about 206 billion USD until early May 2020. The adjusting wing, on the other hand, provided support from another side, lower interest rates. Motivational packages in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. central banks and Arab monetary institutions have taken serious steps to limit the spread of the coronavirus. On the level of the countries of the Cooperation Council for the Arab states of the Gulf, during the first quarter of 2020, Saudi Arabia adopted a stimulus package of $4.34 billion, 5.60% of GDP, aimed at boosting credit and liquidity and the private sector in the face of the corona crisis, as the authorities announced, bearing 60% of the salaries of Saudi private sector employees, totaling 9 billion Saudi riyals. Motivational packages in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia counted as being by mid-April 2020, a package of additional initiatives worth 5.97 billion Saudi riyals was approved, equivalent to $26 billion, thus bringing the total packages provided by the Kingdom to $4.60 billion.
Efforts of central banks and Arab monetary institutions. In addition, most of the central banks and Arab monetary institutions were established in countries of the Cooperation Council for States, the Gulf Arab region, is adopting expansionary monetary policies by reducing interest rates. Taking advantage of the establishment of the Council, the Federal Reserve constituted 2 rounds of rate cuts. The Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency announced reduce the interest rate on purchase agreements by 75 basis points, plus a reduction in the interest rate of adverse repo agreements by 75 basis points from 25.1 to 15%. Some aimed for this measure to achieve financial stability in light of the outbreak of virus corona. The precautionary measure and measure taken by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to reduce the repercussion coronavirus. 1. Government works, government service and other investment in the liquidity period of the private sector were implemented in 20 billion Saudi riyals, $18.7 billion or 7.2% of GDP through the National Development Fund. 2. The new government is recommended by the government. 3. It's announced that 60% of the Saudi private sector employees will be charged with a value of up to Saudi riyals. 4. In mid-April 2020, a package of addition worth $50 billion was approved. Support and expansion the payment of dues of special purpose for use in the commercial and industrial sector. The United States followed at the level of monetary policy and the commercial sector. 1. Reducing the average repo rate by 40.4 pages by 43.4 pages currency rates, respectively. 2. On March 4th, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency announced its size of 50 billion Saudi riyals, $3.3 billion, 9.1% of the gross domestic product, to support the private sector, especially the small-sized companies, by financing its subsidiary banks, by postponing the payment of loans to the private sector. 3. The central banks also covers fees for stores and commercial sector entities, e-commerce for 3 months.